G'day folks, Ben from Snowy's here. Today I'm showing you how to set up and pack away the Oztent DS-1 pitch black swag.
Hit it.
The DS-1 swag sets up really neatly and easily. It's got 3 poles, an inner tent and a fly sheet. So this is how the DS-1 pitch black swag looks when you buy it. It weighs just under 10 kilos, about 9.75 kilos, Oztent claim, and I weighed that to be pretty much accurate. About 95 centimeters in length for this bag here and about 35 centimeters square on the ends. Now, this is straight out of the box, so I haven't unpacked this yet, so it's probably rolled up much tighter than you'd be able to roll it up again. So there's a bit of extra space in this bag to allow for expansion. So as I mentioned, I haven't opened this yet. Let's check out what's in the bag. So this is the contents of the bag. So this is a synthetic bag here, nice heavy duty synthetic bag. Would be a waterproof fabric, but not waterproof bag in that the seams aren't sealed, so you might get a little bit of water in that if it was on a roof rack. This is a fly sheet. Now a lot of people are going to go, oh, that's not a swag, it's a tent, because this is actually, it's a dual skin swag. So it's got a fly sheet and an inner. Obviously you'll see a bit more on that shortly. Bag of pegs here, so quite a few. Not really heavy duty pegs, just straight standard pegs. So if you are on really heavy grounds, you might want to maybe chuck a few thicker, maybe longer, heavier duty pegs in there. Instruction manual, owner's manual, some poles here. Let's have a look at what poles come in here. So this looks like we've got a spreader pole and the hoop poles. They must be color coded, but we'll find out as we go. And of course the main body of the swag here, so PVC base and different fabric on top there. So the first thing I'm going to do is roll this bit out and get the poles in place. So it is all color coded here. We've got, if we look at this end here, these clips are on a black tab, and if we compare that to the other end, the same clips are on an orange tab, and we've got both black and orange poles here. So orange at this end, black at the foot end. Now these just clip together, they're an alloy pole, so they just clip together. You want to make sure that this ferrule is all the way in. Don't use it with it part way out like this. Make sure they clip in and don't flick them around. Make sure they positively slide into place. Don't sort of flick the pole and let them all fall into place. Do that same to the other end here, and then we can put the pole in place. So I'll start with the head end up here. Now at the base of the swag here, we've got a pin. That pin goes in the end of the pole here. We then flex the pin. Now as you do this, these are the most common things to sort of break in these swags here, and it's usually because people put too much force in one section. So make sure when you bend these, you've got a nice even flex to the pole. So we bend it up, grab the pin on the other side and put that in place there. From here, we can peg this up. Now I recommend keeping it nice and even. So we've got an orange tab here, which is the top one. So clip that on the top, and rather than go down one side on its own, which will cause this pole to sort of flex out this side and stress the pole too much, go evenly down each side so that we're putting an even amount of stress. So left, right, and that way the pole sits nice and rounded. That way you are reducing the instance of any damage occurring to the pole if it was to subtly slide and flex too much in one area and causing an issue. Once you've got this in place, we do the same at the foot end, and then we can put the spreader pole in. Okay, so we've got our 2 hoop poles at the end here, obviously not standing upright, and that's where this spreader pole comes into play here. So this just falls into place here. There's a spring-loaded cable down the middle there to hold it together, and then we've got this flick mechanism here that allows us to extend the length of this pole. Now these go into the orange clips on the top here, so we've just got the metal spigot there, pushes into the hole in the clip there at both ends, and then we just extend it out in the middle here until it's tight across the top. Doesn't need to be really tight, just firm. Once we've got that in place, we've then got 3 clips across the top here, which just go over this spreader pole here. And that is the inner tent all set up. And now you can peg this down if you like. The loops in the corner here, you could put a peg in there, but there will need to be pegs in the fly sheet anyway. And if you're crawling straight in your swag, or if it's not particularly windy, you don't have to peg it out anyway. It's freestanding as it is, and it's not going to go anywhere. And when you're sleeping in it, hopefully it's not going to sleep. I will mention though that this is really easy to set up, and it actually sets up quite nicely. There's no sort of sagging sections or anything like that. So there was no wrestling getting these clips on the poles at the end there. So in terms of setup, that was really easy. Now this is the first time I've set this up, so I need to work out how to orient the fly here. Now there's a door at one end, so the head end up there has got an access point at it, and there is another vent at the foot end. So I'm going to hedge my bets to say this is the foot end because there's a vent in the middle, logo's underneath in the middle, and there's no zipper there for door access. So I'm going to start by throwing this over this end of the swag. Hopefully we get it right. Work my way up here. Now this looks, oh I see, so this is it kind of looks a little off center, so you got the zip down the middle and the vent off to the side at this end here, so that's how you tell which end is which. Now there are Velcro tabs up under here to attach it to the frame. So there's one, I think there's three, so I've got one here, one at the bottom on this side, and there is also one on this side, but there isn't one at the bottom because this side actually goes out to become a bit of a storage vestibule. There we go. So just put them in place and do the same thing at the foot end. Now I've grabbed a handful of pegs. There's quite a lot of pegs that actually come with this swag, and you don't need to put them all in. I guess this is where it differs a little bit from sort of traditional swag. So what I'd start with first are these points at each end here. So put a peg in each of these. That's going to make the tent nice and taut. So that's the head end. We'll do the same thing at the foot end here. Now these are on straps that can be tightened. So if we pull that tight, that just gives a bit of tautness across the top of the fly sheet here. Now there's 4 peg points on each corner. So if we just come around to the back corner here, and between these skirts, which we'll go into shortly, there is this little elastic strap here. So I'm going to put those in each corner. So 2 on the back here, 2 on the front, and then we'll talk about the skirt around the side. Now, the only exception to there being 1 peg point in each corner is this side here where this main large flap is. So the same at the rear, it's the same at the rear as how I'm going to describe it here, but there's actually 2 peg points here. This one is the one that kind of goes in line with the pole here, and then this just gives a bit of an overlap to allow for this door to, or the zip to not be right on the poles area. So I'll push that in place. I'll use a hammer instead of beating up my hands. Then this second point here just comes across just to make this zipper line taut. So I'll peg that in as well. And that then just gives us this little kind of overlap here where this zipper comes down. So first peg point is here, which is in line with the pole, which runs down here. Second peg point just in here where this zipper runs. From there you can go and peg in all the skirting if you like, but the only thing to consider there is, well, this skirting runs all the way around the edge. So there's these points in this skirt, which is a little bit different for a swag. We haven't seen this in a swag before, it's something different. If you peg all these out like this, it creates a really weatherproof system where the water runs down here right off the sides and away from where you're sleeping. So you're creating a larger dry area where you're sleeping. So I'd say definitely peg, well, if it's windy and you need that protection, peg it from this point here, right around the back of the swag to the same point at the rear. But at the front here, just have a think about how you want to use this for access, because you've got this large door here. So there's this zipper here, and the same zipper at the foot end where the orange flap runs down, and this gives you access inside the tent. If you're going to use this door, you don't want to peg this skirt out. Alternatively, if you are in really bad weather and you want that weather protection along this long side of the tent here, you can use this as access inside the tent. So this will roll up. You've then got an access point here to get inside the tent. So if that was the case, you can peg this door out and just leave this flap or this skirt here unpegged so that you can get in and out the door easily. Last couple of things I'll mention about setup. Firstly, Guyropes. There's 4 Guyropes here. Once again, probably more of a tent feature than a swag, but if you use these, you're creating a really bomb-proof shelter. There's 4 of them, so if you are in really bad weather, just peg them out on the 4 corners there. And the last thing for setup I want to mention is that you can actually, with a few extra swag awning poles, set this up as an awning if you like. So if I unzip this, the zip that sits under this orange flap here, Same at the foot end here. And you can actually, with the addition of a couple of swag awning poles, there's an eyelet here and there's another eyelet in the skirt here. So I guess you could set that up in two ways. You could probably use this point here for a swag pole if you liked, or this one here and maybe just set it up a bit higher so this then hangs down and gives a little bit of extra coverage. But you can peg this out or set this up as an awning on the side of your swag, so you've got a little bit of extra shade protection while you're inside the swag, or something to sit under if it's raining. Alternatively, you can roll this up. There's 1, 2, 3 little tabs here, so you can secure this flap up to the top of the tent here if you like. So it's right up and out the way, so you can allow ventilation in there. During the night, you've got your fly there if you want to put it down if it rains overnight. So if this was open, combined with the door at the end open and the vent at the foot end here, you've got reasonable ventilation throughout the tent. But you don't have this door on the other side as well. It's just on this side here. That's how you set up the Oztent DS-1 pitch black swag. That was pretty easy by myself, certainly not a heavy, cumbersome thing to work with. But I will show you how to pack it away now and see how easily we can get it back in the bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the fly sheet off. I'll go around, pull all the pegs out. Don't forget little Velcro tabs around the poles at the end there. I'll fold the fly sheet up to roughly the same width as the swag. So I folded that up to roughly the same width of the swag, or a little bit narrow, because what I'm going to do is actually try and roll it up inside the swag there. When it came out of the box, that was separate, but I'll see if it can all roll up together. Now we can take this down. Now we didn't peg this section down, so it's all freestanding. So first thing is to undo these clips for the ridge pole and take the ridge pole out. And then we can remove the end poles by undoing all these clips, remembering to do it evenly. So we don't just undo one side so it flexes out. We undo it evenly from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top. Okay, so tent's collapsed down, the poles are in the bag, all my pegs are in the bag. I've put the fly sheet on top of here. I've got these straps ready to do it up once we've got it rolled up. So, as I mentioned from memory, it's going back a good 5 or 10 minutes now, but I can't remember whether they were rolled up inside the swag or not, but I'm going to try and roll everything up inside of here so it's one nice neat package. Now this mat is reasonably soft, so it makes for easy roll up, but if you have a self-inflating mat inside here, you're probably going to need to sort of roll this up a few times, roll it up with the vents undone at the end and roll it up a few times just to keep squeezing that air out to get it down small enough. So I won't put a lot of effort into this today, just to see how easily it does go back into the bag. Just tuck that under there. Put our straps around it. And when you put it in the bag, I always find it easier to throw the bag over the top and then roll the swag onto the bag, particularly if it is a heavy tent. I immediately noticed that this is stretched out a little in terms of length from where it was when it first came out from the factory, so I probably need to squish it in a bit that way. But there does feel like there is plenty of room in the bag, so certainly not a massive wrestle to get that back in there. If you've got a really thick mat, I reckon you'll probably find that that's a little bit tighter, but probably doable, especially once you've done it a few times. The alternative, I suppose, is to pack the mat separately and use this bag for all your bedding and stuff inside. But that is how to set up and pack away the Oztent DS-1 pitch black swag. Swag or tent, I reckon it's going to be a talking point for many. It's certainly got the features of a tent, but for me it certainly sits in the category of a swag and offers really good weather protection. You can check these out online at stowies.com.au, where you'll find them at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, so let us know down in the comments. Subscribe to our channel for all of our latest information. Check out some other videos like these ones down here.